Doamnelor și domnilor, suntem într-o locație secretă, într-un studio secret al grupului Renault, pentru a vedea în avantpremieră cum arată noul Renault 5. Este un privilegiu pe care vi-l acordă Autopro tuturor celor care veți reuși să vedeți acest film, pentru că, iată, alături de mine este însuși noul James Bond al grupului Renault. Așa cum veți vedea la mână, are un ceas Omega James Bond. So, Gilles, you are the new James Bond of Renault, which is great. So tell us about your new car, dear James, this gorgeous R5.
Well, actually, you remember 3 years ago we've shown a concept car, and the promise to the world was to just put it into production exactly as is, or as much as possible anyway, as much as we could manage. So we took on that challenge, and we said, okay, now we have to do it, so we have to work on the proportions to get proportions right, because half of good design is made by good proportions, as you know. And since we have an EV dedicated platform, it's much easier. The wheelbase can be fairly long, short overhangs, fairly big wheels in the corners, so already the stance, the proportions are already...
Which is unique for the EV platforms. It's the only ones allowing you to do whatever. So by extreme talking, you can move this 20, 30 centimeters in front. You have no problem with that.
You can move things around. It's less constraining than a petrol engine platform or a multi-energy platform somehow. And then the second thing we did is, of course, we are connecting to an icon from our history. And not just one, not just the Renault 5 from 72, but we got inspiration from the Super 5 also, and from the Turbo. And why did we do that? Is because in the collective memory of people, Renault 5 is many details from those three cars.
Mixing all the memories.
Mixing what people remember of each of those cars in one single product. That's highly emotional. So those white shoulders obviously are more from the Turbo. They are not as crazy as the Turbo, of course, but still, you know, the original 5 doesn't have anything. It's very slick there. This detail also, this line wrapping around the roof all the way into the wing, is from the Turbo, while many other elements like the cute eyes, which are now more technological, come from the little 5, the original. Mm-hmm. So there's bits and pieces like this that people remember of the 5 that just resonate nicely as a vibrant product somehow, as a vibrant little piece of design.
But still, it's not the retro design. We can see that. It's a modern interpretation.
Yes,
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, exactly, because we wanted to avoid making a vintage design. And some of our competitors do so, and it's successful for them, and it's a good idea for them, obviously. But what we wanted to do is a futuristic-looking car. So, you know, we talked a lot with the designers, and I have kids that are still fairly young, and some of my colleagues too, in fact, and we said, okay, but our generation are interested.
Nothing to do with Renault 5 in history. We've not been there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe they won't care so much about old cars. So it has to appeal to them for what it is without having to refer to history. So we crafted this design so that it talks for what it is, it's attractive for what it is, it's strong and interesting for what it is without having to refer to that story. So in fact, we are trying to be universal with this design in a way, to appeal to different generations for different reasons, but yet the product is strong no matter what.
Since we are here, tell us a little bit about the aerodynamics, because I understood it was the first R5 with a very precise design for aerodynamical performance, correct?
Yeah, the thing is, in the 70s, aerodynamic was a thing for race cars and for sports cars, but for popular cars, maybe
nobody cared.
Less of a concern, yeah. And so a Renault 5 is a rounded corner cars. You know, it's like rounded here. But round corners are the worst thing for aerodynamics.
Yeah.
So in a modern world, you want to be good. You want to have the maximum autonomy, the less energy consumption possible, even for an EV, obviously. And so we worked like crazy the aerodynamics. So the way we place this wing, the way we have a little winglet here on the side, even on the light, on all the height of this light, actually, what you see is those horizontal lines, you know, like defining a round corner. Yet we have this very sharp vertical blade that deals properly with the airflow, so that it cuts properly off the volume of the car.
Yep.
And so little by little, you know, what we made here, what we did here, what we did also on the wheel design, that's exactly the wheel design of the concept car, by the way. but we worked it so that it's as good as possible in aerodynamics. It's fairly full. It's still interested and sculpted, but between what you see here and what would have happened if we didn't care, there's 8 more kilometers autonomy there, 6 more there, 8 more there.
Wow.
By putting a maximum effort into crafting it perfectly. So you see how much it matters and how much you don't have to maybe put blade-ish things that look aero like an airplane, but maybe it can disappear and yet be very good.
Tell me the story here, we can go in front. The story of the charging indicator, because this is another cool, unique piece in the automotive industry.
Well, actually, the idea, the original Air5 had a grill here for cooling to remove heat from another bonnet. So we said that's a cool little graphic that instantly tells Renault 5. But we don't need a grill anymore. So we said, okay, we need a graphic there, but we need to give it a new meaning, a modern meaning. It can't be just like a graphic for nothing. So on the concept car, if you remember, it was the charging hatch.
Exactly,
for
which was not so practical between you and me.
But actually we did
in terms of practical, no.
Exactly, so we've experimented with ergonomics and so on, and we said, maybe not so good, not such a good idea.
Because the cable will hit the,
exactly,
it's not...
and maybe after 2 years it's damaged there because of the cable, so we said, okay, bad idea, so let's find something maybe more clever. So we said, okay, let's put the charging display there. And of course, on my smartphone, I will have a more precise information, like every percent, everything. So here it's 5 lines, so 5 chunks of 20%. But still, the car expresses itself. And for Renault, which is a brand, voiture à vivre, as we say in French, cars for life, a very empathic product, towards the human. And so the fact that the car expresses itself on its status is super interesting. It makes the product very strong. You have an emotional connection with the product through things like this, basically. So, and even it's reassuring psychologically. If you have only 2 bars, it's 20% or more, between 20 and 60. So, it's safe. It's like between 20 and 60. And if you have 3, it's between 60 and 80. So, it's always in a positive in terms of psychology.
It's giving you a very intuitive, emotional reaction immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, talking about these kind of things, let's go inside to see what is the gadgets. So
in the interior we had the same philosophy basically. What do we activate or reactivate that will resonate with the history? So the 2-layer dashboard, for instance, these little stitchings there. You would find this in the old car as stitchings or molded in plastic, depending on which version of the car. Even on the roof, we have these squares, these embossed squares that were present in the historical car, which is very rare today. You don't see this anymore.
Not at all.
No one cares about that there. And if you remember, the R5 had a huge chunk of plastic here, black plastic with like counters and needles and screws even that you could see. Very old-fashioned stuff from today's point of view, obviously. So we said, okay, let's make a big rectangle again, but let's treat it as a smart device. It even has buttons there for volume, plus, minus, and power, even though you can do it there, so it adds a little bit of coolness in there. But obviously now it's pixels and screens instead of needles. The seats on which we're sitting are from the turbo. So it's like the shape of an H. You see there's a good strong side support, yet it's quite welcoming. It's not like...
And comfortable.
Yeah, it's not stressful.
You don't feel it like in a motorsport car,
exactly.
It's feel it like a respected citizen,
Exactly. So those are the few elements that we borrowed from the history. And then we said, okay, let's make it a very modern, contemporary object and not a vintage object. And to add to the witty spirit of this car, we said, okay, let's develop accessories that are specifically designed for the car. So basically here you have an extra piece of storage and it's like 3D printed, so you can...
And here... I forgot to tell you that I need to give you some bread after our interview because you are working.
Well, basically we're French, we are a French brand, so we said, okay, let's create a porte-baguette, a baguette holder. So you're buying the baguette in the morning, or back from work to home. That's a very French thing to do. So you can actually put it there, there's a porte-baguette.
And you can put also flowers, I guess.
You can put flowers, you can put your umbrella maybe, you can put a million things. And you know who had this idea? It's not even us at Design, it's Luca De Meo.
Really?
Yes.
The baguette?
Yes, the porte baguette.
Luca.
Yeah, so as an Italian, he knows French very well.
Yeah.
But we have another little cherry on the cake, something that no one ever does now in the automotive industry. You can swap this little lever here for so the e-shifter to go forward, backwards, neutral, parking, and so on. And so we said, okay, let's make it like cute, nice. Let's make it like a fashion element or like a lipstick inspiration. And so you can unclip this basically, and I think I have one in my pocket.
God.
There's like.
It's a lipstick or what?
Well, there's no lipstick inside, but it could be. But you see, the shape is kind of inspired from cosmetics. This precious, tech bit of design. So there's a collection of things. You can have the French flag, or you can have whatever. You can.
Even your name, you can put it one day.
You could put anything in there, and you put it back here, clip it back here, and that's it. It's your new.
And you don't need any tools or nothing. You just clip it, and that's it.
Yeah, there's a clip underneath, and you can
and then you
push in there,
and then you
go
can
like this and swap.
So easy.
This element. So that's the extra, cherry on the cake personalization item for this car.
One last question, Gilles. I see that you also like these horizontal platforms. And I know in the car design, there are two trends. Some of the designers say these horizontal platforms is very much like in your house, because in your house everything is horizontal. Yes. Some of the designers say no, it's a wrong one because people want to go out of the home, so they do it very much vertical. What is your personal touch on this?
Now for me,
fine tuning.
Yes. No, I think for me it's reassuring. It's more open. It's less of a wall in front of you. So we want our cars to feel like home. Actually, it's like a moving room.
Voiture à vivre. That's the
voiture à vivre. Exactly. So you can personalize. You feel at ease. You feel like in your home with a moving object. And plus a wall in front of you, a cliff in front of you is stopping. It's not very open. It's not very opening towards the exterior world. So you can still have a protective car because, in the modern world, people feel that they want to be protected from the exterior world. But as Renault brand, we want to be also open to the exterior world. So we're trying to find the right balance between what maybe society is expecting today, more protection maybe, and in terms of pure safety or psychologically, but yet deliver something that's opened, that's more with a different ambience, basically, a different atmosphere, that's more relaxing. Not you don't want it to be aggressive inside somehow, or closing, enfermant, as we say in French, closed around you. So that's the idea, basically. That's the way we see it.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure talking to you, and thank you for sharing all this secret piece of information you just provided. Thank you very much. And oameni buni, asta a fost intervenția lui Gilles Vidal, Chief Designer of Renault Brand, prietenul nostru și noul Design Best Hall of Famer, care în curând va fi pe scena Galei Autobest la Luxemburg. Până atunci, toate cele bune!